Okay, so this is the first of over 30 UX landing page roasts that I'm going to do. It's everyone that replied to this tweet. And I'm just going to start with the first one. First one, as you can see, is this reply by Taylor. And Taylor is building Notilify. And that's the page that we're going to roast today. I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro screen of the landing page and a mobile screen of the landing page here. I also have a few suggestions here in FigJam. You can get this file for free. And the nice thing about this file is that I'm going to add everything that I'm going to say in all of these videos to this page. So you will have a great collection of suggestions, best practices, and things to work on for your landing page. And then finally, I have some suggestions for Taylor to work on, because we will never know if these changes are going to be improvements unless we test it. So something about testing later on. Okay, so let's start with the desktop page, and let's just start at the beginning, and that's the hero section. So what I like about the hero section is how it takes about 90% of the screen, meaning that you can see a bit of a teaser of what's up next here with the text. And that makes people scroll. It keeps people on the page. So that's great. Also, it's not just an overload of color. You know, you have the call to action in purple, and the rest is white or gray, so the buttons stand out. It's a good start. One thing to improve, I think, is the image. You know, it's a screenshot. You can see that it's a recording here in the top left corner. The hero section is your first impression, so you really want to stand out and create something very polished for this visual. So just a screenshot here is not going to do it. And because it's about SMS, something you receive on your phone, why not change the screenshot and make it look more like a phone here with this black outline and the Apple's dynamic island and then the buttons and the shadows. You know, it looks way more polished. And that's, it might sound strange, but that's going to appear more trustworthy. You know, no one's ever going to buy something from the website with all the screenshots and then attached and the footer that's actually just an image, you know, that kind of stuff. So make it look polished, make a great first impression, and having a cool visual, very polished visual on the right-hand side is really going to help here. You can make this bigger, by the way, make it stand out more. And I was wondering, Taylor, what's the difference between companies and businesses? Like, you might be able to save some space here. And also, you know, I think the second line, you know, engage and reach customers globally with marketing, transactional notifications, alerts, and other types of SMS. I think that's the main takeaway. You know, reach your customers with SMS. So you might consider changing these two around. But again, this could be a good A/B test to see if it works. And then finally, for this hero section, for the button, you know, it's a very long label. I like how it's in context. You know, you really have a label that shows what's going to happen next. You're able to start for free with 10 credits, but the no credit card required is something that I would add as a small text below the button. Looks like, where do I have it? Looks like this. You know, it makes the button less overwhelming, and it makes it way more subtle. So change this to this. Now, if we go and take this section by section and take a look at the mobile version first, is that what you can see here is that where the desktop version, the hero section takes up almost the entire page. That's not the case on mobile, and you can really see the difference where this is very calm and gives users time and space to really take in what's happening here. This is a big wall of text. So what I would suggest here is to put everything from this text until the rest, and move it down, way down. Really focus here on this part. Basically do what you're doing here. Have the hero section take up about 90% of the screen. Do it here as well. This is super overwhelming. This is probably going to hurt your conversion rate a lot. So please change this. All right, so up next, we have this. So I like what you're trying to say here. It's a way of selling SMS, like text messages have a great open rate, better than newsletters, better than email. But I don't see that here. 98% open rate is great, but compared to something else that people would usually do. If you want to convince someone to not use email, but rather use text messages, compare your solution with the worse current version of what they're doing. Design-wise, I would create way more space between the title and these two. Then I would center these, because they're aligned to the left, it looks like it's off-center, it looks like it's to the left. Make the percentages bigger and bring the labels slightly closer to the text. I would bring up the testimonial, but that's something we will get to later. On mobile, it's it's okay. You can have it to the left here because it's a way smaller screen. It's less wide, so because it's one column instead of two, it doesn't look like it's skewed out of center to the left. So you don't need to change too much about this on mobile, except for what I mentioned earlier about how this should take up 90% of your screen. And then this can be slightly bigger, just like on desktop. All right, so up next we have what I think is features. And I know these are features because when I click features, I appear here. One thing to do, by the way, is to have smooth scrolling. Because if I click use cases and it's there instantly, I don't know if I'm on a different page or if I'm on the same page. I only figure that out when I scroll. So if you show the smooth scroll, people will know that they're still on the same page. So if you call it features over here, call it features here on the actual section as well. Connect these two, make it less confusing. Imagine being a user clicking on features and then they see why us. That's confusing. They think like, wait a minute, I clicked features. Are these the features? Yes or no, I'm not sure. You don't want that confusion on your landing page because people are very easily scared away. And that's going to increase the bounce rate, lower your conversion rate, all the stuff that you don't want to happen on your landing page. So something about the structure of this page, people read, left to right, top to bottom. And on this section, you have two columns, basically like the why-us, and then this second column divided into, two smaller columns. That's hard to read. What I would suggest here is to move this to the top and then have this as a row, maybe below the why-us part. And if it's too much, like if you have 6 features or maybe even more on this page, I would highlight 1 or 2 of your main features, very simply list without icons the remaining features, and then link to a dedicated features page. Like you can convince people with 1 or 2 main features, and then you have like everything else. Maybe you don't need to show it here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because once you go beyond this image, it's mostly text. And we can do without some of it, I would say, and replace it with visuals maybe. So that's for this. Let's see, where are we? For the why-us, I have a comparison here for you. So this is what you currently have. And this is something else. This is what I mentioned, like with the intro text up top here. then one main feature, and then 3 smaller features. And they all have custom images to make it more visual. They have gradients, different colors. It's more engaging. It attracts people to read. And that's something that I would suggest you doing here as well. I like the icons. That's a good start. But maybe you can add some visuals here. Small suggestion, by the way, is to remove the line over here, because it really breaks up this section. I would say that these 3 belong together. So title, subtitle, call to action. But because of the line, it breaks this section into 2 parts. And that's not how it should work. You should bring it all together. So I think up next we have the testimonial. Testimonials are great, social proof. It's really going to help convert more people. But this can stand out. When I'm designing a landing page, I would probably add the testimonial right below the hero section. So between these 2. What you can do here is make this bigger, make it more colorful, really highlight the part of this testimonial that you think is important. And then, if you can, if this is a public message somewhere, or a review, or a video, or if this person has a social media profile, link to this person. For example, what I have over here on my website is this testimonial, and when you click on it, you go to the actual place where this is mentioned. It makes it look more trustworthy, because it's an actual quote, because everyone can make up quotes. So if you have this quote somewhere, or if you can link to this person, make sure that people can click on it and open in a new tab, so to make sure people stay on your page. Excuse me. So as for visually improving the testimonial, you can change the quote to your accent color. And engagement rates have soared. That sounds like something everyone would want when using Notilify. So highlight it. So this here to the left, we have like this underline. And then to the right here, I put a box around the important part of the testimonial. So these are 2 things that you can try. You can also add arrows or confetti or fireworks, different visuals to focus on the important part of the testimonial. So same goes here. Remove this divider, remove this divider, remove the divider over here. On mobile, do the same thing. Remove this, center this, and add a little bit more space between each feature. I like this part where the text is smaller. On mobile, that's important. You can do the same things here with the color and highlighting the important parts. Again, remove this line. Do that everywhere. I am curious why you have phone numbers, sender ID, and why us separated. Maybe you can comment or let me know in a separate request or in a direct message on Twitter what your thoughts are behind all of this. So one challenge here, by the way, is if you scroll. Imagine this use cases. Imagine how you come up here. You're scrolling, and then there's no title yet. It comes up here. Even on a smaller screen, it takes a while until it appears. Another reason why having use cases up here in the middle is easier, because it's the first thing you see, and then as a user you're right in this mental model of, okay, now I'm going to see use cases, which is again good for cognitive load and all that kind of stuff. Use cases are important, and for use cases I would suggest also creating a dedicated page. As for frequently asked questions, is SMS available worldwide? You mentioned 90 plus countries. Make this a link to a dedicated page where you mention which countries you mean. 90 countries. That's not every country. There are way more than 90 countries. So it's important for people to know, and you have to take away that uncertainty. Like, is my country supported? I'm not sure. I'm not going to buy. That's how people think. So be specific here. Also, in terms of dividers, if you open this one, remove the line here, because the answer and the question, they belong together. So there's no need to create a divider here. One thing I noticed, by the way, is that every click here takes me to the same page, somewhere down here. But for pricing, I go to a different page. And that different page is a table. I assume that this is pricing per SMS, but I'm still curious, like, what is it? What else is it going to cost me? Like, do I pay a monthly fee, or is your fee included in this SMS? It's unclear, and especially when it comes to pricing, people really want you to be specific. They really want to know the benefits versus what it's going to cost me. And if there are more benefits versus pricing, then they will consider signing up. So this needs a lot of work. You need to explain, like, how does this work? Will it get cheaper if I buy in bulk? Is it a subscription? Do I use some sort of prepaid or pay-as-you-go kind of service? Really be specific about that here. Here, it's super important. Let me see what else I have, because I have quite a few things. So I mentioned all of this. This is also mentioned. So, okay, lots of things mentioned. What I would suggest you to do is first, how to test the changes/improvements is to have a base measurement. So don't change anything about your page just yet, but really track the number of people on your website for the coming 2 weeks. Or if you're already doing, you can take a look at the previous 2 weeks and see what the bounce rate is currently. Time on page, also important. And then conversion rate currently. So the conversion rate you can measure by taking a look at the number of people on your page. Let's say, just to make it easy, 100 people in the past 2 weeks. When you click start for free today, you go to, it takes a while to load, by the way. You go to a register page. So that's the second page. And then once you enter all your stuff, you sign up, then you go to the signed in state. So let's say 100 people end up on the page, 10 people go to the register page, and out of those 10 people, 5 people actually sign up and log in. So 5 out of 100, that's a conversion rate of 5%. That's a great way to start. Measure this for 2 weeks and then start making changes to your pages. Don't change everything at once. What I would suggest to do first is to change the hero section. That's the first thing people see, so it's going to make the biggest impact. So what I mentioned in this video, update the text, maybe consider adding this as a main header, changing the button, changing the visual, and don't change anything else. Because if you change everything at once and it's an improvement, you don't know what made the improvement possible. Or in a worst case, you don't know which of your changes is bringing down the conversion rate. So hero section first, and then after that change the order. So testimonial higher on the page. And after that change these, the features and the use cases that I mentioned. So then you have 3 steps. 2 weeks for each, plus a 2-week starting period. It means that you have 8 weeks of improvements and changes to make, and the stuff you can measure right away. I'm curious to see how that's going to change and hopefully improve the conversion rate on your page. If you want this visual for your homepage, let me know. I'll send it over. No charge, just as a service for you. I made it anyway, so you might as well use it if you want to. There's no problem at all. And for those of you watching, again, if you want this page as well, currently with 1 review, but in a few weeks it will have dozens of reviews and suggestions. You can find it in the description somewhere below here. It's a link to a FakeJam file. It's a free file, and if you want a review like this as well, and I'm coming up on 20 minutes currently, you can do so here. You'll get exactly the same video as this one, with very specific UX related advice, roasts, things that work well, that kind of stuff. And it includes a follow-up question. So if you have questions about this video, just ask away. It's no extra charge. It's all included, $99, and link to this page in the description as well, or below this tweet, depending on where you're watching. That's it. Taylor, good luck. Let me know your thoughts. And if there's anything else I can do, I would love to help.